Welcome to the DevRead podcast. Joining me on the DevRead podcast, I have Gareth Rydon for another monthly AI chat. Gareth, thanks for jumping back on board.
Thanks for having me again, Anthony.
It's not a problem. There's been a lot that's happened since we last chat. I think this has been about 6 weeks gap, probably not four. Um, anything stand out with any sort of clients that you're working with, or any sort of automations that you guys have put through at Friday?
Yes, and one thing that sort of jumped out for us, and it's probably less about the work we do, but the Sora app release.
Yep.
And I'm a big fan of AI. I love using it. I'm not a fan of the Sora app. If we talk about AI slop
The actual app itself.
or what it's producing,
Yep.
like this is the truth for me. Even me, a patient supporter of AI, even I'm getting a bit over all the slop that's coming out of it, like the AI slop. Like
Yep.
the number of times I've seen that horrendous video of where someone's put Stephen Hawkins on that skate ramp, and this is one thing where I'm just like, this is not a benefit to humanity at all.
Not at all. I'm getting a lot of ones where they're coming to wrestling rings and fighting with each other. Like I saw one with Steve Irwin fighting a stingray. Like any ideas they can come up with. It's an amazing model and tool what they've built, but that app is like TikTok to the extreme, but in like the worst part of it.
Oh yes, perfect. That's exactly right.
Yeah, I haven't even borrowed to download it. Like it's like I'm not interested.
Yeah, I'm the same. I think you described that really well. It's TikTok on the worst of TikTok, and
Yeah.
it's interesting because the tools can unlock creativity, but this is the application of it has just been terrible, and I really can't see how the current applications are benefiting us at all, at all.
I'm surprised that they built sort of that social media app for it. I think they thought that's what people would do. And then I've been listening to podcasts with Sam Altman. He's mentioning that they're not sure how they're going to monetize that. Is it like per generation, or how people would actually use it? I see that Sora being used for advertising and putting a product in a different space and saving you time there, not a problem. If it can do a good enough representation of my voice, because nothing's been able to do that, I'm happy to use that to then make extra little clips in between when I don't have time, and I'm happy to do something like that. But that social media slop is not going to be useful. Have you tried the actual video generation yet? Because I haven't had a chance to play with it.
A little bit. I just ran out of time to get deep into it. It's a big improvement to the first generation of Sora. The way it's the quality of the outputs are better. The way you communicate with it still remains the same as if you communicate with it well. Execution's better. I still prefer VO3, and I love working in VO3, which is Google's video generator. But I've stopped using it because I don't want to be contributing to the pollution that it's creating, basically.
Okay, it allows more people to be creative, because creating content is hard. It's very hard. If you are trying to make videos, like for yourself, you make videos for your Friday, and I do for Aerion and DevRead. It's very hard to make engaging good content. So most of my content is just me standing in front of the camera talking to you. It's not engaging at all, but I'm just trying to share information. And then trying to get it to be entertaining takes that level up. Like it's another level of hardness that's exponentially harder. And it's not helping, I don't think.
I agree. And it's used in the right way. I love how it can unlock creativity. And it also, I think, further benefits people who are experts in that space because it gives them a superpower. So it allows everyone to be creative, which is fantastic. And we can tap into the law of induced demand, because there's just going to be more demand for people with really good skills. So if there's a better application, I'm all for it. I think it's just haven't seen any quality stuff come out of it yet.
Yeah, I think based on what you said there, it's similar to the coding tools. You give the coding tools to a programmer, they're going to get a better output than someone who doesn't know how to code. Give the video editing tools to someone who can edit video and film video properly, like a videographer, you're going to get a much better output out of them once they learn how to use the tools.
Yeah, that's so true.
It'll be surprising to see once we start getting like mini like episodes of things that are coming out and people are using them that way.
Yeah, that's going to be really interesting. I'm really keen to see, because they've got the AI version of the Cannes Film Festival,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really keen to see what new stuff, what quality stuff might come out of there, because I'm fascinated to see what that longer form content is going to be, how they integrate it. Is it give rise to people who never had the budget but had amazing ideas, and now that they can really make those ideas real?
I think that'll happen, but they're going to be hard to find in between. Like the really good things will stand up and bubble to the top, but it's going to be hard to get. I think OpenAI is also putting, can't remember if it was $4 million or $10 million towards building a movie, like an actual motion picture movie using their AI tools.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if it's just like, here's a movie made with AI, or here's a really good movie, and by the way, it was made with AI. Depending on where you go with that, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, because then they're empowering the creators to use the tools to the best of their ability and actually try and get something amazing that comes out of it.
On a slightly different tact, are you a Samsung or a Apple user?
Samsung. I've got the folding phone.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to ask I've been playing around with is with Apple Intelligence, you can use Siri to access ChatGPT now.
Okay, so you can just tell it to use ChatGPT, or does it automatically?
So, well, I was playing around with this morning, and it's going to be really interesting because it moves Siri from being, "Hey Siri, message ABC." Oops, sorry, Siri. No, don't listen,
Yep.
Siri. For it to be probably a bit more effective now. I think that's going to be really interesting. See
Okay.
how that works.
So that's their big start, their big momentum shift, probably in the way they're running their Apple Intelligence. Then, because there's been a lot of talks about them buying Perplexity online, from what I've been listening to, and that's been coming up for a few months. So then they can actually have the AI play. And then the other thing is they've got all the devices and everyone's in the ecosystem. So as soon as they do something, they've got the several 100 million users already
Yeah, such a good point.
in the app.
It's going to be really interesting, and I think we're definitely seeing that with. I think the big players are realizing that they don't want to be locked into one provider. With even Microsoft now, you can use Claude inside Copilot, which I'm really interested. I've never been a big advocate of Copilot. I've been working with a few companies to help them with it. It's definitely getting better. I'm really keen to see how it changes. So Claude is great. Claude inside Copilot, I'm keen to see how it works.
Yeah,
Does it lose all its effectiveness, just like ChatGPT lost all of its effectiveness inside ChatGPT?
yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, because they've got their layers and their prompting on top of everything they're doing, and their guardrails to protect data. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But yeah, having that ability to then use different models for different purposes makes sense. So they may use Copilot for Excel if it does a better job than OpenAI potentially. I'm not exactly sure where it excels in that sort of space. Pardon the pun there.
Pardon
But
that. Yeah, I was going to say, nice. I like it.
it's interesting to see how that plays out, because then some of the other stuff I was watching is they're having problems with OpenAI and Microsoft's investment and how much they earn. Like, so I think Microsoft has perpetual revenue from OpenAI until they reach AGI, which is a loosely defined term in their contracts. And then Microsoft apparently stopped the buyout of Windsurf, if you remember that from a couple of weeks ago or a month ago, that coding tool. So OpenAI couldn't purchase them because then it's directly competing with like GitHub and what Microsoft's doing.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some interesting stuff there happening. It's just all the news that I keep consuming now, just different pieces are coming back into my
Yeah,
mind.
it sounds like it could be a bit of tension there in the boardrooms of those two companies. But on the OpenAI front, finally, you can share ChatGPT projects within Teams.
There was a great moment I saw that started sharing that around with everyone. But then it doesn't let you do too much, because everything is branching a conversation. It's not continuing the same conversation, which I can understand how that can be difficult as a developer.
But at least it's a step, like it's catching up to Claude. That was the
Yeah.
big thing we found. We were able to create projects because we've got Teams accounts for Claude and ChatGPT, and it was just great because we'd create a project, even Notebook LM.
Yep.
We'd create a notebook and be able to share that amongst the team. I think that's a big step forward for ChatGPT, and that was something that was really sort of, I felt really holding it back.
That was terrible.
Because
There was no point in having a Teams plan.
yeah, exactly. And you just do not share chats because they get indexed by Google. So that was a big no-no. It was really limiting collaboration. So that's been helping us a fair bit. Like it just feels like we've got, what it felt like is that ChatGPT is taking that next step as a valuable team member, because even though we were on a Teams account, it didn't feel like it was a shared team member. Like we had a,
No, it wasn't at all.
yeah, exactly. It was like we were basically using our own individual accounts. It just so happened it was under a Teams plan, and you had an admin sitting on top of it. But now I think they're really moving, and I think that's where I really feel that for OpenAI to win in that space, it's got to feel like a connected solution. Like it can't feel like you're just buying 1,000 licenses for all your individual employees and they're using their individual licenses. It's not quite there yet as an enterprise solution, I don't think.
No,
But
it's definitely.
definitely getting better.
I think the next evolution of that will be allowing anyone to manage the like knowledge space for the project. You know, that initial thing we can upload files. At the moment, only the creator of the project can do it. So I set one up and then shared it with the team, and then they couldn't add their stuff into it. I'm like, all right, you create it because you're going to be managing it, so I'll let you then responsible and then start it again. So once that comes in, it'll probably be a little bit better. But it's not collaborative yet.
Yep.
And then I think that, sorry, I was going to say that branching concept, that was something I was saying we needed for like a year, but the way they've done it is still a bit difficult to use, I think.
Yeah, it makes me think about like if you were to design a collaborative, an AI assistant within a team, you'd take a different approach, I think. Because you're right, the way that they're executing at the moment isn't quite, it's still based on an individual's users version. But if you took an approach where, well, we need a project is a team AI, so therefore, what does that mean? If there was another team member would have conversations with everyone that could be saved. Whereas, yeah, I think it still feels that they're applying the individual account mindset to projects, and they've got to take a view to say, Teams accounts, you've got to design it differently. You've got to design it for a team, basically.
I think being able to visualize the branches
Yeah, that'd be cool.
as well, like just the way you do with code, you do branches, you can see things branching off, at least seeing how many branches have come off or when. You don't have to show the full message and the full stream because it's a lot of content, but there's something there that needs to be done as well, because now it's just another chat that says clone or branch in brackets, I think.
I haven't tried this. I don't know if you've tried it, but can you open another conversation inside the project with all the branches and ask it to look across all of the branched conversations?
Haven't tried that. I'm going to say,
Okay, I'm going to try that actually.
I'm going to say probably can't, just from the way I'm expecting them to have implemented things. But they had
Yeah.
their developer day, so last week or the week before, where they announced the
What was it? Agent Builder?
agent builder. So that's like a lot of talk online was, oh, this is replacing NAN, and then a lot of people are saying, oh, it's not going to replace it because they've got 30,000 nodes or whatever it may be. But I think with that, people are not understanding that OpenAI is going to replace it at some point, because they want all the connectors in so they can get all your data to do everything better. So I definitely think that is going to go to the point where Zapier and NAN and Make will end up disappearing.
It's fascinating, isn't it? Because the trend that what I saw, I wonder if you had it, is so they had the dev day. It was announced. I watched the video, and you could cut and paste the posts. And someone did a really funny LinkedIn post about this, saying, "I bet your feed is filled up with the following LinkedIn post: ChatGPT just killed N8N. Here's why. This is what you need to know. This is what you need to do." And it's lit. And then after reading that LinkedIn post, in my feed, there were 10 other posts like that. But the only person that I felt, and it's worth looking, it's about a 20-minute video on it, Nate Herc, about where he compared Agent Builder and N8N. And it was that video, it was a YouTube video, it was quite good because he steps through what he can do in one, what he can't do in the other, and gives them basic scoring. That was kind of good. But the best part of that whole video and what he posted was, if you focus on learning how to use any of the applications, that's what you should try and do. So you become, as humans, application or model agnostic, whatever you want to call it, and then you can actually pull them into different contexts.
Yeah, you need to know when to use the right tool.
Yes, exactly. And that approach where this has been released and it's killed all these other things, I believe is, first of all, the people that put those out actually haven't worked in the tools in depth. When I look into them, like, have you spent time? But they're just grabbing a headline. And
Yeah, if you look at feature set, the agent thing has like 10 features. It doesn't do a lot and doesn't have multiple models.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But it's a very good application in some contexts. So I think when people ask me, oh, should I go all in on Agent Builder now and cancel? And I got asked this a couple of times, should I cancel my Make subscription? Should I cancel Zapier? Should I cancel? And I said, no, like, learn them all, like keep using N8N and now use Agent Builder and learn how Agent Builder works for you, what the applications of Agent Builder are for you. But also, aside from learning what the applications are, you're actually learning how to communicate. You're constantly refining your ability to work with AI in different contexts. And that is the most important skill. So it also takes a bit of the pressure off, because when people are asking me that and they're saying to me, I just don't have time. Like, I've just learned this thing and now I need to learn this thing. I'm thinking, awesome, you've just learned that. That is fantastic. The skills that you've put in your kit bag are going to be skills that are going to be used across lots of different things, not just N8N, like how you can understand inputs and outputs. And the biggest skill that I see people are learning without realizing, or the two biggest skills that I see people are learning with things like N8N, the first one is the people that are using it right are learning how to unpack and think through a process and a workflow before they use N8N. So the people that are using it the best are the ones that spend the time going, I think I'm trying to do this. Here are all the components. And then they think about how N8N can do that. That unpacking is a really powerful skill. It's going to apply to when you use N8N. It's going to apply when you use Agent Builder. It even applies when you use agent mode in ChatGPT. And I believe that is probably one of the best skills we're going to need now. And then the other thing that they're learning really well is when and how to use AI agents and when not to use them, versus I was speaking at I went to this like networking event. It was really cool. And there's this amazing application these two guys have come up with. And when they were telling me about it, the application was phenomenal. Like, it's in the health space. It's brilliant. What they're asking an AI agent to do is probably a bit too much. And I said to them, like, if stuff goes wrong, it's going to be hard to debug. They've got incredible prompting skills. I'm like, it's actually pretty cool what they've built. But maybe think you could limit what an individual agent does. And are there some things that you could just add in basic automations there that are going to make it more robust, easy to debug? So those two skills are critical. Is how do I think through a process I'm trying to do, what the parts are? And it can be just drawing on a notebook, putting Post-its on your desk, getting a whiteboard, and then going, okay, what's happening between this step and this step? Because also then what you can start to do, and that's what a lot of the businesses we work with, and we're working with one with you on, then they can start to reimagine. So by going that, they go, oh, now that we have this capability, does that mean that we can reimagine what this workflow is? And that is super exciting.
Yeah, it's once you start seeing the capabilities, like you said, it unlocks the next level of what you can do, because now you know that that's possible. So you think, all right, how far can I push it? Like you just said there, all right, we're branching. Can I now query cross branches? You wouldn't have thought of that until you started making branches. It's just being familiar with the tools and understanding the capabilities allows things to become a lot more. That's my approach, is the more you know of something, then the further you can go down or try and remix things across different areas to get a better output and a better process in place.
And every time, that first step of starting to experiment, every single time you do an experiment, you're learning.
Yep.
So I think on our last catch up, we were talking about one of the challenges I see is that head in the sand people who are saying, I'm pretty sure AI is going to take my job, so I'm not going to engage in it at all. By doing that, you're completely missing out on learning. Even if you're just hacking together simple prompts and you're asking and it's not getting you the results, but that is how we have to learn through these things. And even I love what you said about what can be possible, and that's also something that I have to keep challenging myself on, is how might I do this differently now? Really little things, like constantly with that mindset about, okay, is this something I should be doing? Is there some help I could get with this tool, like through some sort of tool? And that's like, I found that one of my biggest unlocks has been talking, like not typing anymore. And even that challenged myself is, where should I be talking through this now instead of typing it? Like, keep pushing myself, and how does that change how I'm interacting with the AI tools as well?
I still type everything into ChatGPT, even though that microphone button's there. It's when I'm on my phone, I think I do the voice more than when I'm on the computer, just because I think I'm a fast typer.
Yep.
But I think, yeah, you can definitely get more out of a concept or an idea in talking in the same amount of time than you can as typing. So it's a better use of your time, probably.
And it also comes down to how you think as well. Like, I know
Yeah.
one of my co-founders, Charmaine, she's a super fast typer, and that helps. That's how she thinks. But it was me. I have to, like, I've got a scrambled mess in my brain. I've got to get it out in the first go. But I've been super, super, super impressed with Whisperflow.
Okay. Yeah, you mentioned that one last time, the one that records everything on the computer.
Yeah, it's pretty much, you'll sit across any application. But even now, I'm really, really pushing it to go close bracket dash dot point, and it's putting brackets in. It's not typing out bracket. So that,
That's
like,
good.
little things like that I'm finding really, and the length of my pausing, it's learning about how much of a gap in sentences to leave now, how much are paragraph gaps.
Okay.
I've been really, really impressed with it. I know there's two camps about Whisperflow. A few people are saying about it's always listening and there's risks there. So that's something that definitely you need to consider. But yeah, it's been absolute game changer for me. Like, really, really, really good.
That's a good tip there for anyone listening that's on a Mac, because it was a Mac only, I think, when we looked at it last time.
I know I haven't, like, because I'm all in on Mac. So
Yeah. I'll do a quick live research and see what it's for. So I remember last time I looked, I think it was just Mac. Oh no, it's got a Windows app now. Okay, something for me to check out.
nice. Definitely play with it.
Cool. All right, we'll do.
Because it's where my, like, flow now is, I'll have Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini open, a couple of projects open in my Arc browser, and then different windows open across my screens. Especially my morning flow, I feel, is really, really optimized, because it feels like, and maybe this is just me, it feels like in the morning I'm sitting down before because we have stand-ups with my other co-founders, but before I have the stand-up, I have my stand-up with my AI team.
Okay.
And functionally what it is just a couple of tabs open, but I've got two screens and I have my microphone. I stand up and I put my microphone up, and I have my sit to stand desk. So I have my keyboard ready, and I brief all of my AI tools for the morning about things I need them to get started on. So, and what I actually do is I alt tab, so I'll open ChatGPT, double click the function button, start talking through a task for an agent, press enter, and that works. And then I'll alt tab to Claude, double click the function button, give Claude a briefing on what I want Claude to do for the morning, specific tasks. Alt tab to Gemini, same thing. So that's, I find, and then they're all running, and that's especially for those a bit of a complex task. So ChatGPT is usually going to be a deep research for either a client project or something we're doing in Frey, or we're doing some bug fixing. But it feels really different, and it's part of my routine now where I do that, and I'll just have a quick chat, and then I can check in when things are done. So that workflow is, I sort of stood back and said, that's kind of like my daily ritual now, which I find quite interesting.
Yeah, you've got that down and pat. I haven't gone to that level yet. I still just fire things off as they come to mind. So I have 20 ChatGPT windows open, and all of them are, one of them is, can I do this in X? All right, there's a simple thing, or convert this to this. And then just because you mentioned the daily brief there, have you started using the ChatGPT Pulse?
No, I haven't. Have you started using it?
Yeah, I've used it, but because I do so many random varied things, it does pull back in things that are finished, that I'm no longer working on, or those little things, and giving information about things that aren't like the big things that you want the update on. I haven't sat there to try and say, no, don't give me this and try and tune. I'm just trying to see the daily thing that comes back. Like if I open the app today and I'll have a look at what the top level stuff is, because it's only mobile only at the moment. So Pulse. So today's one is, this is a thrilling podcast waiting for an app to load.
So that's where, so I haven't, so when you're in
So
the
you
app,
open up the ChatGPT app, you hit Pulse, you have to turn it on, and then you'll start getting that daily update. So I asked something about checklist systems the other day, and now I'm getting, how do you turn in checklist systems to become self-auditing systems?
are you on a personal, is that a team account?
I'm in my personal one. It's telling me ChatGPT can read my Google Calendar. It's got something that's come back that I haven't talked about for about 8 weeks in it. And then it's like, all right, it prompts you saying, you can decide what shows up here. What's on your mind lately? I'll remember for tomorrow's update. And you can write, I'm curious about, I'd like to learn more about, keep me updated on, or share anything. So you can tune it every day, but I haven't tuned it. So it's...
Where's it showing up? So when you actually open it, so in your
so in the menu, there's the third item. You're not going to see that. It says Pulse.
Yeah, okay. I wonder if that's just for, because I've only got Codex Library and ChatGPT. I think that might be a personal.
Okay. Because I don't have Codex on my personal one, which is strange on my phone.
You know, one thing I just realized, which I hadn't been, this just shows, like, that's also a tip for people, is every week go into the settings of any of your AI applications, just see what's new.
Yeah, it changes.
It changes. Because I just noticed, and this has probably been around for a while, but I haven't checked this on the iPhone app, is I can deactivate follow-up suggestions.
Okay.
So I know sometimes when I'm working is, so personally, so a lot of people that I coach, when they're working with a complex thing with ChatGPT, the more of the coaching is focused on being clear on the tasks first and what the outcome is, because the follow-up suggestions can actually lead them down the wrong path. Like, I think follow-up suggestions can be really, really good, but if you're not clear on the outcome, you can just keep saying yes to follow-up suggestions. And is ChatGPT doing the next step that you wanted to happen to achieve your outcome? And I thought that was quite cool. That gives me a thing, as I might add that to.
I'll have to look at that one as well.
Yeah, switching that off.
But yeah, give the Pulse a try. It's good, but it starts bringing back different things. So then if you're running multiple projects at once, and it's going to start bringing back all things and maybe mix them together because you're doing things from different places. But one thing maybe you wanted to use X, and the other one is don't use X. And then it's just mixing stuff together or doing the wrong thing. So it's interesting to see how you can push it. But I haven't tried to curate. I'm just getting the basics out of it. And I've read probably 3 out of the 20 days worth of things that it's come back with. And that's it. I'm not finding them super useful.
What do you think is the core problem that Pulse is trying to solve?
I think it's meant to be more info. So it's not reactive, it's proactive. So it's giving you further information on something you worked on without you having to then go and work on it. So this is now the AI doing stuff in the background while you're sleeping. I think it's moving towards that.
So a proactive assistant.
Yeah. Whereas everything else in all the tools is you have to prompt it to get some information.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, that's interesting, because then you'd have to, I think I'm going to switch to my personal plan.
Yep.
I'm trying to think about, and that totally makes sense that it's not accessible on a Teams account, because that would be that I think through that and I go, for it to be a proactive assistant, it's got to be really clear what there's got to be a common theme and pattern in terms of how you've been using ChatGPT. And if you use it for really diverse and wide-ranging stuff, it might suggest something to work on and continue that was just a one-off that just had nothing to really do.
Most of it is one-off what I do. They're all single-serving things. Like if you look at my Gemini chats, a lot of them are from my watch. I hit the button, Gemini pops up, and it's like set a reminder. And it'll set a reminder in my Samsung app. But now that's a chat in Gemini because that's the way it's set up. There's just hundreds of the individual tasks as chats.
Yeah, interesting. Okay. That is interesting. The other thing I was going to share with you, which I found is quite curious, is on that topic of chats, is I'm really starting to notice how I'm prompting is changing a little bit for different contexts.
Okay.
And probably the biggest difference I'm finding now is I use Gemini a lot inside Google Sheets, Google Docs, and Google Slides. How I'm communicating with Gemini inside those applications is actually really different now to how I'd prompt Gemini in a traditional chat.
Yeah, I guess because you've got that different interface. You're working on a document or a sheet.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So that's something I think is a good thing for people to practice with is AI inside applications now, like the better version of the old school Clippy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm finding when I'm inside Google Sheets, very, very specific, very direct, less broader, can I do X, Y, Z, or let's work on this together, more analyze this, create a simple formula that converts A to B. So I haven't worked out like
just very explicit.
Yeah, very explicit. Yes, I think that's something to think about, because if you click on Gemini inside a document, think about the AI is now inside that document with you, so it's really focused on what it should be doing and how it should be doing. So therefore, your prompt should follow suit. Versus if you're prompting an AI assistant like your traditional ChatGPT or Gemini, you think that's a broader, multi-purpose assistant that can help you with more stuff, so you can be broader in your prompting and be more open with your prompting.
Okay, I'm very specific, or a lot less detail in my everyday chats, I've noticed, because it just does better. It's understanding with more detail, like in more detail when I put less detail. I think like it still gets the same result. I mean, it's poor phrasing there.
I wonder if that's because you're so there's less detail in there, but it's clearer detail.
Potentially, I was always the person in the office whose superpower was being able to Google well. So if you wanted to find something, I knew how to Google, which was, you just have to be very specific and talking keywords. So I can do that in the chats as well. So what if I want to frame the chat? I don't write out a whole thing saying you're an expert, you're a this. I just put square brackets at the top and I just say context, and I just put 3 or 4 keywords. And now I've anchored the conversation or whatever else I want to talk about. And the next is then just one sentence, not go to another ChatGPT window. Oh, write me a prompt to do this. Because I'm not looking for 100% polished output either. A lot of my use is research or give me a very quick draft of something and then I'll work on it myself. Or here's something I worked on, just what's wrong, or analyze or improve.
That makes me think, I wonder, be curious to see if you do get a chance to play with Whisperflow, is I wonder if where it might be useful for you is the being able to give feedback. Because that's also a space I find really interesting, is I'll talk through what I want one of the AIs to do. And the simple thing I do when I read the output, because I have the cursor obviously in the box, as I'm reading the output, I'm talking through my feedback, which I find quite useful. So I've found that.
Capturing that at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, this output isn't quite right because what I needed was this. Can you please go back in paragraph 2 where you've pulled out X, Y, Z? I want that to be reformatted this way with this output there because the outcome I want is this. And that's like how I'm talking through my feedback. So I do find that a useful to and fro. So it really helps that sort of interaction.
I think just before we wrap up, the one last thing I think that's probably still lacking in all these tools is you have so many chats and threads, but you don't have like the to-do list that's tracking that each of those is completed or closed off. They're all probably in progress at 50%. And then you just, by the time you get back to it, you don't no longer need it, or you did something different because you couldn't find the chat because the search is terrible, or something else distracted you and you didn't go back to it. I'm finding that as probably a bigger challenge as well.
Sam, if you're listening, can you bring in that feature, please, to analyze chats, how complete they are, and then tell us if there's anything we haven't finished that we need to finish? That would be great.
At the moment, it's I've got a Trello board called Working On, and then I just, everything key, I just put the chat link in the Trello board, so then I can just quickly get to it. That's my temporary workaround.
That's clever. I like that. That's a cool hack. That's awesome.
All right, Gareth, I'm conscious of the time, and I know you've got to jump off to a workshop. If anyone wants to reach out, how can they do that? I'm sure everyone knows by now, but we'll do it anyway.
Yep. So Gareth@frye.ai, or connect with me on LinkedIn.
And we'll add that to the show notes as usual. Gareth, once again, it's been another great chat on AI and just recapping some of the stuff that's come out in the last few weeks and what we're seeing and how we're using it. Thanks again.
Thanks, Anthony. Have a great rest of your
Thanks.
day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.